And we're live.
Yeah.
Got to change the topic. Already messed up.
I was
Would,
perfect.
wouldn't
Smooth
be
on
Frag
my
Logic
end.
without.
Smooth on my end.
There we go.
On YouTube, flawless victory. Episode 64 of Frag Logic. What's up, folks? We are back from holiday weekend. Not feeling, my voice is feeling a lot better from PAX weekend before. Got my buddy Colin here, aka the Star Citizen Hater.
Oh, is that what they're calling me now on the internet? The Star Citizen Hater? That is high praise.
The Star Citizen Hater.
It's high praise.
Black, I'm gonna call him Black Rab, but Rabbit Tricks on Twitter also follows the stream. Gave me this banging song on SoundCloud. I ended up downloading it. I'm gonna give you guys a link. If you guys want to listen to what I was listening to over there on YouTube. I was over here just doing my little. Actually, both Colin and I every week, we might just have to I might just have to put the standby on, off and on, like a couple of times. They'll see us dancing. Because we're over here jamming. You guys don't get to see. The pretty song. What's up, Shadow? But yeah, this week got a couple updates. I mean, this is gonna be a pretty
Pretty not big.
Quick.
Actually, the opposite.
Quick
big.
week. With updates, we got weekend gaming stuff. MLG Anaheim right around the corner. Process of making map callouts. I thought that was something that was interesting. We got that question last week from LA Apex or LA Lapex. Not sure how he wants to be called. Destiny had a couple updates this week. I mean, there's the elephant in the room is obviously Marty. I don't know if we're going to spend too much time talking about that, but he's no longer with the studio. H1Z1, basically Sony's DayZ. Colin, I'm just not even going to touch this. He was talking to me about the show, or before the show, about ESL, Titan rules, Titanfall rules. I can't even talk about it. So I'm going to let him take it.
Just for anyone who missed the craziness that was the ESL Test Cup 2 rules.
So, yeah. Starting off with weekend gaming like we normally do. I played some loadout this week. Got in quite a few games since I've been gone from PAX and basically had a week off and it's just kind of like work. So we got caught up on the game. Got caught up on what we're doing for the studio and all that stuff, and some pretty interesting stuff. I think we're starting to get ready for our competitive push, which I think is going to be interesting going forward. Titanfall, played a lot of that. Nosgoth, which is probably sneaking up as my second most played game as of right now.
Still playing Nosgoth?
I'm still playing it. It's the more I play, the more interesting the game gets, which is I think kind of interesting in itself, because I initially kind of looked at it and I was like, I don't know who this is for. It's like a cross between Left 4 Dead crew and like there's this like extra layer of depth the more you play. And the biggest thing that gets me with the game every time I play it is how much teamwork just naturally is involved with the game that you just don't see across a number of other games, whereas the PvP aspect of it. I mean, people are grouped together because they have to be. If you're and that's the humans. If you're the vampires, you're trying to work together and get ISO people out of the groups. Right. I mean, it's really intricate in how it plays, and I wouldn't expect it. Even low levels, like people that have played 3 games, they realize immediately, oh, I got to stay by.
Right, so you go off on your own, you get killed immediately.
Right. And then I'm playing 2048. So here's the embarrassing thing about that.
I already told you why it sucks.
Wait, here's the embarrassing thing.
You listened to me play.
So I started playing it, and I was like, oh man, this game is fun. Like, I played the loadout version, which someone in our community replaced the numbers with loadout characters.
Right.
And then I played the full game on my phone, and so I was over holiday break. I'm sitting here playing 2048 every second I got, and so Christy finally asked, I'm like, what are you doing? I was like, I'm playing this game. Here, try to beat my score. So she sits down for like an hour, maybe, beats it and then hands it back to me. Like, here. I mean, she beat it by like 600 points, but I can't beat my score again.
I told you down, left, down, left, down, left until you can't anymore. Then you go up once, and then you go back down, and down, left, down, left, down, left. Like, that's all you have to do because the game is flawed.
Left 4 Dead and probably
The
Russia.
same.
No, Colin. Left 4 Dead and I would say Last of Us.
For Nosgoth, not for 2048.
Nosgoth, right. Yeah, those are my games I've been playing. Oh, there was another one. Shit, did I include it? I might have forgot to include it. No. I had links to check out another game for you guys that was on my radar. Now, since we have so many notes, I don't even remember what the game was. Well, I'll think about it for the show and then I'll come back to that. So, Colin, I mean, you gameless, right?
Pretty much gameless. I went home for the weekend, so I spent Friday flying back to Ohio. Friday or Saturday, Sunday with family, celebrating my birthday and Easter. And I didn't get to go back for Christmas, so it was kind of like catching up for that stuff. And then flew back Monday. So weekend gaming was pretty much none. I did play Hitman Go. It's an iOS game. It's like an iOS adaptation of the Hitman series, but you're in like a panorama type style game. So like it's basically like if Hitman was in his office planning out his kills and his heists or his targets.
Okay.
Here, I'm trying to bring it up real quick. It's like if he was just doing that and then playing with like little action figure type things in order to move across the map. But it's a puzzle game, is what it is.
Right.
So obviously, it kind of fits Hitman because you have. Let's see. You guys can probably see a little bit of that.
Yeah, it's a little blurry. We can see it though.
Yeah, I mean you can see the general idea, like they're little figures.
Yeah, I can see the puzzle pieces.
And then when you move the figure around, then like the other figures are set to turn or patrol the area or that kind of thing. You have to figure out the right path to take to finish the game. It's a pretty cool implementation of Hitman into an iOS game that isn't like an action game. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that's all I played. I played that. I'm not even close to beating it, but I've been having fun with it.
That's interesting. I've actually been on a quest to find, and I keep, I always bring that game that you were playing. I can't, the life of me, game, but I keep searching for Final Fantasy Tactics on mobile. Like that's all I want to play, right? So that's like my long-term mobile game is
I've got
Final
it sitting
Fantasy
here,
Tactics.
It's hard to get into because it's a big time investment for a phone game. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like I downloaded it and bought it ages ago and just been sitting on it.
So that is my thing, yeah. So for you guys that didn't know, yeah, Skyllus officially that 25 hump,
Yeah.
quarter of a century, old man status.
No gray hairs though, unlike the co-host.
I got one right there, somewhere.
Yeah, which ultimately is just a chance for me to go harass Kale and Hastro and all the other old men of esports. And
22,
doesn't
2
mean
gray
much on
hairs.
my end.
Look at that. Look at that. I don't feel bad. Colin, how does it feel to be 25 years old?
Not that much different. I think
Don't
my
you hate
car
when people
insurance is
ask
supposed
you
to go
that?
down, right? My car insurance is supposed to go down, I believe.
It
Yeah,
is.
that's like
Oh,
the
wait.
last. That's the last perk for the next like.
Is it 25 or
years.
26?
I think it's 25.
Well, yeah, I remember that. I was like, yes.
And 24 is renting a car. So like now it's like 25 years of jack shit.
Well, you know, Carrington got into that accident. So that was last year, or whatever.
Last year.
Not paying. He said he was thinking about buying something in the store. I don't know, Chick-fil-A. I don't know what he was thinking about. Just thinking about some sandwiches or something.
He was
He was thinking about
chicken.
Oreos. He said he was daydreaming about Oreos. They ran a stop sign.
This doesn't surprise me.
What's up, Dirt? Oh man, that dude. All right, so let's go into the next topic. Let's see what we got here. Oh, MLG Anaheim is immediately after.
Oh yeah.
We haven't talked about an MLG event in a little while, like specifically an MLG event.
They've been. I'm not gonna say they've been slacking.
What? I feel like they've been making moves.
I'm not gonna. Well, that's the thing. Like, I feel like they're just doing safe shit all the time, so it's boring. You know what I mean?
MLG TV, you think that's safe?
I mean,
Abandoning.
we did talk about MLG TV, but we haven't talked about MLG events much.
Okay, I mean, MLG events. Yeah, they're
Like
playing
the events
safe.
have been like, it's like the same cookie cutter like COD, StarCraft. There's been no.
This
They
is
haven't
kind of
really
out
done
there.
any reinvent, but I will say like they did the Call of Duty drafts last week or this
Last week.
weekend,
Yeah.
where they were drafting subs to fill out the rest of the rosters, which was ultimately they're not going to get used more than once or twice all season, but it was pretty cool. I remember the old draft days where you used to draft on GB or Team Compete or whatever, and that was your team for like a short season. And it was pretty cool, and everyone always liked it a lot because it's all the drama of having a draft.
Right.
So like that was cool and everything, but I mean their events have been pretty safe, I'd say. Like it's been StarCraft, it's been Dota, it's been COD. They haven't like shaken anything up by having something unexpected in there. I'd say what we're about to talk about is probably the most unexpected stuff that they've announced.
I feel like
even that's not really that unexpected because it's West Coast and they announce fighting games. Like
true. That's a good point.
But I mean, you go back to like a year and a half, 2 years ago when they were talking about doing exhibitions for all these other games and like trying to get some of the other smaller scenes involved and that kind of thing, and that just never materialized.
Yeah, it's been a ghost town for a lot of that, and so what you end up having to do is exactly what we've been urging for the last couple years is get grassroots community just start doing it themselves and organizing that way. So I think in that way, yes, they kind of fallen off a little bit from a competitive standpoint, trying to envelop everything esports. I think for them, they kind of say, well, we have game battles, go there. You know what I'm saying? So, what are you going to do? But MLG Anaheim is Friday, June 30th through Sunday, July 2nd. So that's right before that 4th of July weekend, or 4th of July week, rather. And there's, three. I'd say there's three big announcements there. Killer Instinct, Injustice, and then Smash.
Yeah, so they announced Smash earlier this week and Killer Instinct and Injustice just today.
Yep.
And Smash is only 1v1. It's only singles. They aren't doing doubles at all, which is like a staple of all Smash tournaments.
I don't think they're too upset about it. I think that for the Smash community, they're just happy to be back.
Yeah.
Because their last,
they can't really complain.
Yeah, their last time at MLG was the whole fixing matches thing.
Yeah.
So I think they're just glad to be back. But yeah, so the big news for me personally is Killer 2 games. Wait, Colin, I got started my fighting games on Injustice.
Yeah, you did. I wonder if C's gonna play KI.
It seems like he's been grinding for it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Caesar plays Killer Instinct. I would like to see him play personally. I think he would probably do pretty well. I don't know how he fares, against everyone, but he would at least win some matches, I imagine, unless he gets just an incredible bracket up front at the start. But I'm really excited. I'm kind of wondering how, and David Lang he was on our show, and we asked him about the competitive fighting scene. He's all into it, right? So, yeah. Iron Galaxy now has the rights. So call it they are now developing Killer Instinct. So for them, in cooperation with Microsoft, I think that this is probably a good move for KI, considering it's an exclusive, and it's usually those exclusive titles which gets things jump started from a competitive standpoint. We kind of talked about that before, with Microsoft kind of investing money and stuff like that. So
there's kind of weird things. I didn't see Microsoft mentioned in the announcement at all.
Yeah.
Which usually, if they were a big title sponsor, that would be one of the things you'd call out. But I don't know. It's cool. Maybe they'll be just doing some big stuff with it in the future.
I'm kind of wondering if they're gonna, if Iron Galaxy is gonna have any patch updates prior to the event.
Undoubtedly, right?
I don't know. I mean, they just got the reins passed off. I want to say like a couple weeks ago.
I'm sure behind the scenes it was passed off before.
Yeah, well before. Yeah, it's true. So, and then Injustice. I haven't really been following the Injustice scene since I switched to Killer Instinct. So I'm not sure exactly where they are. I know the NorCal event was past weekend, and I didn't get to watch it. Obviously, I had family stuff going on, but I know Killer Instinct was there. Actually, Nomad. I'm Nomad. Tweets
Yeah.
us. He's a subscriber. Sometimes he's in the show chat or whatever. He actually played in it. Said he did not too bad. I was watching one of his videos on. Uh, he said that he played in Killer Instinct in the NorCal event, and I want to say it's NorCal Regionals. And then I don't know if he signed up for the MLG event because I don't think it was announced yet. But he said he's going to Evo too, which will have Killer Instinct. So,
And that's what I was just looking at was the dates. It's like 2 weeks before Evo. So it'll probably be like huge training event, you would think.
right.
What's crazy is that it's going to be MLG is the beginning of July, and then you have Evo 11th to the 13th, and then 18th to 21st is the international. So it's all just bang, bang, bang through July.
Right.
Everything's gonna be popping. That was the reason that actually MLG had to remove Dota from their Anaheim event. Was enough people were just like, yeah, we can't go to that. It's too close to our big international event. So it opened up the window for a couple games that are practicing for an event that's 2 weeks later, or 1 week
Right.
later.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean that'll
July's gonna
be
be packed. It's gonna be fun.
It's gonna be exciting. Yeah. Every time we get into fighting games, every time like Evo is always so hype. It's such a great event. Like as soon as we get into that season, I'll start playing. What Street Fighter is supposed to Ultra Street Fighter 4 is supposed to the DLC is supposed to drop around that time. So I'll probably be back on my 360 playing some Street Fighter a little, at least for on and off when we're not playing Titanfall. So every single year now for the last like 3-4 years, I've been gung ho and watching Evo. Really excited.
Yep.
Prize. Did we say the prize pool? The bracket setup?
No,
But-
it's 7,500 for KI and Injustice,
And Injustice.
1,500 for Smash. 15,000.
15,000 for Smash. 40K for StarCraft, and then 70,000 for Call of Duty Ghosts. For the Killer Instinct and Injustice, it's 128 player bracket, double elimination, best of 3 for the games. Pretty standard stuff.
Standard.
And then pricing scales based on the time of the event. So if you sign up like right now, I think it's like $55. And if you sign up at the event, it's like 160.
Really?
So-
It's that different?
Yeah, I'm not joking. It is expensive.
Holy
for,
shit, you're right.
pricing. Yeah, so if you plan on going,
It goes from 55 to 125 for individual.
yeah, if you plan on going, I highly encourage that you
Sign up.
up right now. Like, get that ticket, all that stuff. But yeah, that's pretty much it on MLG. Obviously the other big thing there, I guess we can kind of talk about. I don't want to talk about it too much, but Fwiz left Machinima as I want to say he was director of live programming and esports at Machinima, and now he's back at MLG. So, and I think he's handling all their live events and stuff for
He's
MLG
the
TV.
VP of programming.
VP of programming. So, big ups to Fwiz making that move. I guess he's back home. Fwiz got his career kind of started at MLG doing casting. So I'm really happy for him to see him making moves. Kind of don't know what's up with Machinima though. And their esports efforts now at this point never really seemed like it took off. But
I mean, yeah, it failed pretty miserably,
so
realistically.
not sure what exactly is going to come of that, but I'm certainly going to try to bother Fwiz and see if I can get some answers on the Machinima front. This topic, process of making map callouts. This was again part of. Go ahead and switch this. Am I gonna fit it? Yeah. I'm gonna talk about this.
What is this?
And
Windows 8 just full screen on me. Okay, we're good.
all right, I'm going to talk about this in a process that we typically go through callouts. But last week you had a question asking are map callouts in general, is that a dying skill? I don't know. Do you feel like it's a skill? That's the first thing I kind of want to ask. I don't know if it's a skill. Maybe something that's, I mean, yes, maybe learned, because you have to learn the process of
I
what's the
mean,
best way to do things.
making calls, like actually verbally saying them, is a skill for sure. But like
Right.
saying what's gonna be called what is, I guess. I mean,
Maybe.
it's also a big thing in level design that you make sure that things are able to be called out and
Right.
distinctive enough. So like if the level design's good, then you shouldn't have to make up unique shit for the things. But yeah, like I think I've seen mostly people just rely on whatever the first publicized things that come out are for map calls. Like it's the same almost every game.
We how many Gears of War callouts do you think we originated?
We definitely had Junction. I know we were the first people saying Junction.
We were the first people saying Junction
That was
on
my call, in
canals.
fact. I will personally stake claim for making Junction the call.
Junction on canals is definitely our call.
And then that was used again on countless other maps. I want to say, what was the pavilion call?
Which one?
We had Duck. I don't think anyone used Duck except for us.
Oh yeah, the duck.
I don't think other people used Duck.
Forgot about that one. I have to go back and listen to some of our matches so I can see what we were saying because I can't even remember some of the call. I remember duck just now because I can remember the little that little
I'm trying to pull it up.
it's like a box, but it was shaped like it had a bill and like a head, so I was like duck. But I have a bunch of crazy callouts. Didn't I have one that like peanut butter and jelly?
In Halo, we had
In Halo.
Peanut Butter and Jelly, where the two lift names on Ivory Tower. I'm
Yeah.
sure someone else had better calls for that way before we came around on the remake. It was on Reflection, actually. Is the name
Oh,
of
we're
it.
sitting there peanut butter and jelly.
Yeah, I mean, it's a mix of like functional versus making a good call. But really, as long as the people you're playing with all know what you're talking about, it works
Right.
just fine. My biggest nightmare making calls was Frontlines because there was just a generic ass warehouse on this one map, and it was just like there's like 16 doors to get into the base, and we needed to be able to call out all of them because that's how the game was. So we started going down like, all right, so this is A1, this is A2, this is A3, this is A4. Then on the other side you have B 1, 2, 3, 4, and then upstairs you have. Well, we can't really do numbers; it'll get confusing at this point. So then we like tried to find some other way to call out the top ones, and it was just the biggest nightmare. It was probably like 2 hours of doing that before we just finally were just like, fuck it, whatever. And
He's
like that
over
was
there.
the biggest nightmare.
Yeah, there's definitely I can think of a few games that we've gone through and been like, I don't know what we're gonna call this, but I'd say over the last 4 or 5 years, most designers are starting to think about it in the exact same way that you have kind of said it. It's like we want to make callouts that are memorable, so that at a certain level, I won't say a competitive level because I don't know if that necessarily was on it, just for recognition of where people are. Is better visual for the players and whoever you're communicating with, be it just a random teammate or someone else.
I've got duck up on screen. So this is the duck. See, it's a bill, and there's the duck's neck. So this piece of cover we just call duck. Again, I'm not sure if it picked up anywhere else.
I
It should
don't
have
know
picked
if
up
that
that
one
like
did.
everyone should have called it duck.
Everyone should have called it duck because it was most certainly a duck. I sat there and looked at it. I was sat there and looked at it like I stared
That's
at
another
it.
one that I'll take claim for.
I was like, man, that looks like a duck.
But yeah, I mean, I'd say like actually making calls is something that most people will find not needed. I mean, part of the fact is that we can also go into a discussion about people team hopping and changing teams all the damn time. So you almost need a really general set of calls just
Right.
because everyone's changing teams. Where if you already know you're gonna be playing with the same group of 5 or 6 guys for the next 6 months or whatever, then you can make whatever the hell call you want. But if you know
Sure.
you're gonna be team hopping a bunch, then have more generic.
Hey, that was a pavilion.
Yeah, Patty.
So a couple things like general process of making calls is like one, you need private room. Like, I mean, until Titanfall had private room, we gave up. Like, because it was just you might get the same map, you might get a different map, you might not have enough time on a map where it's like 15 minutes. Hey guys, let's walk through this map. Oh wait, we're gonna lose the game in 2 minutes if we don't play the actual game. So
Yeah.
you have to have privates to kind of look through and figure out what nooks and crannies are. Obviously, I think space is huge. Like Battlefield callouts, that would take a
Good luck.
long time versus a game like Halo where it's or QT to some extent where it's really enclosed arena maps. I think are a lot easier just because the process is quicker. Some of the things that we would do is like one of the basic rules is you want to keep your syllables short. Like you don't want like peanut butter and jelly. That's a bad call out. Like we're just being silly. Yeah, it was a silly call out because we had like eggs and ham or something like that on another call. I don't remember what game that was. But you want to keep like one syllable, red one, red two syllable at most. But then once you start getting to three syllable, it makes it too complicated in junction with what you're saying, in conjunction with what you're saying to your teammates. So he's one shot at the, you don't want it to be some super long thing. He's one shot at this place, or I'm down at this place. You want it to be really concise. What's up, Wraith? But our general process is, we hop into a private match. We have the full team there. Someone you typically has up like a notepad or computer with the callouts that we're going through for each map next to them. As we go through, kind of walking through each spot, I think we if I remember correctly, we do one naming process. It's been a while since we've done this. One naming process, then a walkthrough, and then another, like a really quick walkthrough of everyone saying it again. So it's 3 walkthroughs. One is really slow, where it's like, this is this. We're going to call this. Okay, that's that. And then we speed through it, and everyone kind of, I think everyone had to say it when we were doing it on Gears. All right, what's this? Boom, 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 boom. Then we move on to the next one. Boom, boom, boom.
Then you bust out the flashcards.
we didn't have flashcards. We did have the notebook though.
Yeah, with the overheads.
We had the notebook. And then after that, I mean, it's just map cycling. So I think we kind of capped off on Gears, for example. We might do like 6 maps in a night, and that's like 5 hours, right? I mean, it's so long to do that. It's a long time to go through each map and do callouts.
I think you have to remember it the next night.
Right. So yeah, it's rough to do the process, but that's our general process of kind of going through map callouts. One of the things that I think is interesting, at least in the last 4 or 5 years, I would say, since Xbox Live chat kind of people got used to it, is like there's way less people talking in chat. And we mentioned this last week, I think, in the questions, and you said something along the lines of, well, party chat was introduced, right?
Yeah.
So, you hear this like, why don't I hear map callouts? Why am I the only person talking in this game? I don't know how many times I've heard someone say, I'm the only one talking. Why am I the only one talking in this game? And to be honest, and I said this on Gears, like, I just unplug my mic when I play.
Yeah. I mean,
there's so many reasons.
Even when I'm playing alone, I tend to. Like, it's just not... For the few occasions where you get someone that's actually giving calls and, like, you want to just be like, okay, let's go ahead and give calls and that kind of thing, you get, like, so many kids that are just asking questions, and or you get, like, really abrasive dudes.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just not worth it nowadays. But, yeah, it used to be, like... You used to be able to talk in games without having that shit.
I remember Halo 2, people were going crazy with those voice mods.
Yeah. The black dude voice modifier.
I remember people going crazy with those voice mods. And
There's almost always that one, though.
Then the voice mods disappeared.
On a major voice like this.
Then people stopped talking. And it was like, that's not even fun. Or they have soundboards now, right?
There are people talking at the beginning of Gears, I think you could say. But, I mean, like, once Party Chat came out, like, midway into Gears 1, it was dead.
I will say this. On Gears, when we got to a point, I think on, like, the latter part of Gears 2, Gears 3, and Gears Judgment, as our videos started getting more popular on YouTube, there was way more people like wanting to talk in game. Like if they recognized us, they'd be like, "Hey, you know, let's do this. Let's get going." It seemed like people got a lot more excited. So that was a plus. But generally speaking, I mean, if people don't like in Titanfall, no one knows who I am, so no one talks at all.
Which is
Like
why I'm kind of
silent.
curious about the Titanfall hashtag stuff. Like, I wonder if that's going to be able to kind of turn that around. For example, you could have hashtag mics only, and it's people that are in chat, and you know they're in chat, and that's what the entire thing's for.
Right.
Hashtag 21 plus or something like that. You know, well, that's actually probably going to get
That
people
you
that.
shouldn't do that.
Yeah,
It has to be like a secret tag.
it has to be a secret tag. But yeah, I mean, like if you get stuff like that, if you know, like, hey, everyone here is from Kotaku or from Polygon, then I think you might be more prone to put a mic in. So that's one of the things where I'm interested to see if that starts weaning people off party chat a bit.
Be good.
Because I mean, according to the gear stats as well, some like 75% of people were playing solo in Gears 3.
3?
I think is what they said.
That's right. I thought it was
I think
75, 80. I
It
think
was a really
80.
high percent.
Yeah, it was
75,
really
80.
high.
So I mean, they can't all be in party chat, right? Like it's a lot of people just with their mics on mute or not talking because of this reason we just mentioned. So I'm curious if that'll change things. We'll see.
Been in party chat since Modern Warfare 2. Game chat is the same Xbox tough guy. What's up, Tiger Blue? Go ahead and move this.
Talk about Destiny a bit.
Destiny.
I just realized, man, I just had this realization. We haven't talked about it much, but this beta is going to sneak up on us quick.
Right. So, I mean, did you get a code for the beta?
I need to pre-order stuff.
Oh, so I got my code for the beta. I'm in it.
I don't think there's any urgency.
No,
Pretty sure
I don't.
they'll have
I
millions
got
of
my
people
code.
in the beta. Yeah.
And I
No,
got
need
my
to pre-order,
code.
get my code.
And I'm ready. Marking those Xbox muscles. Yeah, Destiny, I mean, there's a couple of different things. Obviously, the elephant in the room, and I know first thing that pops up is no Marty. You know, I really don't have too much to say about it other than you made some outstanding, phenomenal musical scores across the Halo universe. Awesome stuff. Very memorable for me as a gamer. I think for a lot of people as shooting fans, if you got into shooters, more than likely you've played Halo at some point in time. So I think a lot of people are kind of attached to the music scores in there. And I was listening to, I think it's called Destiny Dispatch or Dispatch Destiny, which is like one of the main community podcasts for the show. I've given them a shout out. Kind of listened to them on and off. Listened to probably like 5 or 6 episodes. But they were talking about their latest one. One of the guys actually is like a composer, like a musician, and so he was like really broken up about Marty being gone and stuff like that because he was saying like he recreated a marathon, I think it was. Sounds right. From like start to finish, like he did the whole thing himself and like recreated it, and so like one of his inspirations is gone.
Right.
But I mean that's definitely hurts. But yeah, you know,
there's
don't
few
really have too much
songs
to say on
as iconic as the Halo theme. Like it's going to always be one of the most iconic gaming songs, I think.
Yeah.
Right up there with like Baba Yetu from Civ is the other one which always comes to my mind.
Yeah.
So
Mario.
yeah. I mean, I'm sure there's way more that happened there than we can possibly know as far as why they wanted to get rid of him. So can't say too much, but yeah, he made some great Halo music. And he'll have some good music in Destiny too. It's not like they're not gonna have him on the music.
Yeah. So that's all we got on Marty. I'm sure you guys have probably read all the stories and articles about it at this point. For those of you guys that are interested in all things Bungie and Destiny, but you know, there's a couple things. Obviously, you know, I was reading their latest update, and it seems like spirits are really high. It sounds like they're about to ramp up. Well, based on the community article I read, there's pre-alpha, and then beta, and then basically full release. So like the beta is going to be sometime in the summer. I'm kind of interested to know how long it's going to be.
Got to be like May, right? Like it has to be end of May.
You think it's going to be end of May?
And they were shipping in what, 4 months, right?
I thought it was July. I'm pretty sure the beta's in July.
I don't think they announced a date.
7/7, I think is the date.
I don't think they've announced a date.
I'm pretty sure I heard that.
I'm looking.
Don't quote me on that, but I think 7/7 sounds about right.
So it's shipping. It's shipping September 9th, which is when all their games ship.
Right.
But yeah, they said they haven't announced the time.
They haven't done. Okay. So I don't know where I've heard that from. I don't know why 7/7 is in my. I feel like that was a date someone probably said, but the game itself. I mean, we kind of talked about it generally. Our expectations. Kind of talked about what we've seen in the competitive side of like the Halo community. Like, what is this game going to be? What is it going to mean for us? Obviously, they had one of the designers talking about competitive, so they're at least thinking about it. But for us, This is probably going to be one of those unwind games for us. I think. We just hop on. What's tonight, guys? Destiny night. So I don't know what kind of occur with the competitive side of it, but from the general game itself, I mean, looks like. I don't want to say the Borderlands that I kind of wanted to always play, but I'm going to say the Borderlands that maybe would be, if there was multiplayer with Borderlands, it would be that. What I'm thinking, right? So the game seems like it's going to be phenomenal. I can't wait to play the beta. For those of you guys that don't know, it's going to be on PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4 first. And I don't know what that time window is going to be. I'm going to guess a week. I'm just going to throw that out there. I think it's going to be a week. That sounds about right. And here's the thing. Do you think that the beta is going to drive sales? This sounds kind of crazy. Do you guys think that the beta... I'm kind of interested with what you guys say in chat. Do you think that the beta for Destiny...
Oh, they confirmed to be a week. I just Googled it.
Is it a week? Exactly. Yeah. Is going to drive sales for both consoles. And I'm talking specifically Xbox One and PlayStation 4, right? Not the previous gen, which could actually deter people from buying it.
It'll drive some sales. Big question is if your characters can transfer from current gen to next gen. Because otherwise you might not upgrade right away if you know you can just transfer later on. Whenever you get your new console. Something to think about. Because they're going for that persistent world stuff,
Right.
And while they might not allow cross-platform, well, they definitely won't allow cross-platform play. They could allow you to transfer your characters around and just have one global character.
It would be so fun to play either console.
Wouldn't that be sick? Be able to just carry your character around? Oh. It seems like that's what they're trying to do. Like, that's the impression I got. But yeah, like, if that's possible, then it probably won't move as much. But I mean, it'll move some regardless. There's people who are hyped for Destiny.
Yeah. Well, the expectations within the studio itself seems pretty high. I have the do it myself. Let me see here. Might be this. Is it? Here we go. It's the weekly updates, and I've read them. I won't say I've read them week to week, but I've read them in spurts, right? So I'm kind of saying to myself, I haven't read about Destiny in a while. And it's just one of those games that's always in the back of my mind. Same with Division, right? I haven't read Destiny in a while, so I'll go read their weekly updates. But the recent one here kind of talks about people that got to the press, basically, that got to play I think the pre-alpha build actually. So it seems like internally like they're excited because press was excited, but I'm kind of wondering what that experience will be like. Obviously I'm kind of interested also to see who's going to cover it first, right? So is it going to be like Fortnite where Game Informer does an exclusive piece? And I mean, it has to be Colin.
Game Informer had the reveal article, didn't they?
I think so. They had the review article for the initial piece.
They covered it in January too. Like it was their cover game, wasn't it?
Yeah, they've been killing it.
Yeah.
They've been killing it. But so I'm kind of, like I said, I'm kind of anxious to see what people are gonna say. Like if they show any gameplay. That's the big thing. Like I'm waiting on. I just want to see.
Where's the gameplay? That's 4 months or 5 months. It's about 5 months from release, and they haven't shown shit.
That's
All they showed was the walkthrough of E3.
yeah.
It was just that like guided walkthrough of like what realistically is like 4 minutes of gameplay, if that. Like like they fought like what 4 enemies, 5 enemies.
Maybe, and they haven't showed
Some
any of the
enemies
new
come out.
abilities, nothing like that. So I like,
Yeah,
that's what I'm waiting for.
0 multiplayer gameplay
They
outside of like 5 frames and a couple videos here and there.
Yeah, where people were like, people were like playing Where's Waldo, trying to figure out the clues of multiplayer
Like,
stuff.
is this multiplayer or single player? We can't really tell.
I
I know they've shown gameplay.
Like, they've showed some gameplay. I mean, but I'm talking about like the latest, absolute latest gameplay that is right around the corner. I mean, because the game is about to come out, right? Like, I'm excited for the game from what I saw.
It was very guided. Like, it was them showing off their art more so than the gameplay mechanics. Is what I felt like.
You guys think E3? You guys think this E3 will be the gameplay that they show? That could be an unveil.
It needs to be playable on show floor at E3.
I would agree with that. Was Titanfall playable at this?
Yeah, remember it was massive.
Yeah, because the line was. Yeah, that's right. So, I mean, there's going to be so many games though on the show floor at E3. You guys know how huge, and this is kind of straying off topic from Destiny, but how huge this fall lineup is so big, right? Like, Evolve has massive hype right now. Destiny potentially have a couple other mega huge titles. This is the one I'm thinking of. Not Division. Sony. It'll come. Order, right? The Order.
Yeah.
The Order. That's what I'm thinking of. That one is going to be a big one. Then there's one more Sony title that's going to be pretty huge.
You also have this year Alien Isolation, Dragon Age, and the Lord of the Rings game that they showed, all coming out on the same day later this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Same day?
They all come out the same day.
Cannibalize each other. That's crazy.
I think Alien Isolation is the one I'm most excited for out of that bunch.
Man, I need to pay attention to Sony's lineup. I had all those lineup games like after post E3 and timeline stuff. I had that all like.
I haven't seen anything about Sunset Overdrive. I don't know what's happening with that. They haven't shown anything at all. Haven't said anything either.
Yes, I was hyped for Sunset Overdrive, but that was when I saw the video, and then I haven't seen anything since. So it's kind of like low on my radar. Oh, Dying Light is another one I was thinking.
Oh yeah.
But back on Destiny, I think that obviously Bungie's going to knock it out the park. The other article or the other update from their weekly blog that I had read yesterday or whatever that I included in here was the Bug War one. And I was just looking at it from a studio standpoint, like looking at their room, and then obviously when you work in the industry, you're like, man, that's nice. Huh. That's some nice stuff. I wish I could have some of that stuff that's all spaced out like that. But I mean, obviously working in the industry is awesome regardless, but I looked at theirs and I was
expensive room in those screenshots.
Yeah, I was like, man, I wonder how much that costs. That's a big room. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Those are PlayStation dev kits too.
Are they?
If people want to go ahead and get the the lead platform console wars going, I believe those are PlayStation dev kits.
I mean, Mr. Mobot says.
I believe they've also said publicly that that's their lead platform.
Mobot. A lot of people are buying PS4s and Xbox Ones just to get a better version of Destiny. I can't blame them. I bought a 360 for the Halo game. That is true.
Bought my 360 for PDZ. Game was the shit.
PDZ. Let me go back to these. If I have anything. Let's have fire teams, which is basically just talking about parties, working together. Pretty standard stuff. But yeah, that Bug War one, man, that was the one I was like, ooh, look at all that. Ooh, look at that nice shiny stuff. Awesome. And the other thing, I'm gonna show you guys on my phone. I downloaded the Destiny Community Hub, which was pretty awesome. They categorized this, or categorized. They posted this on their site in the community section on Bungie's website, and so you guys can see this. You guys can. It's basically an app that aggregates all of the community stuff that people create for like popular sites. So there's some podcasts on here, and that's how I listen to Dispatch Destiny. I also listen to it on my computer. I think they actually do a live stream as well, if I'm not mistaken. I've actually watched a couple videos that people have been posting out, and then there's a couple articles that I've read here and there about people just being generally excited for the game. So you know, I'm pretty excited myself. That article that I linked, the first one, basically says that they are on track. Did you see that, Colin? They are on track, in all caps.
All caps, in quotes.
On track for everything. So Destiny's looking like it's
they
going to
also
be.
say they're pre-alpha with 4 months to go.
What? It's going to be done. Oh, we've already had this discussion, Colin. You already know. Alpha.
Yeah, I guess. Really, it's just their beta needs to be release quality.
Yep.
And all their production, like, it sounds like they're just trying to have everything done early. But like the standard definitions, pre-alpha 4 months out would be bad news.
True. And I'm happy to see that Bungie is going to be releasing a multi-platform game. That's a big thing. Like, and we always said this with Gears and wondering why Epic never. We know why, but you know, how big the game could have been if it was on PlayStation, whatever. Just having that community engagement, like regardless if you are a PS4 fan or an Xbox One fan or fan, once you get a group of players that are all playing the same game relatively, and they're part of the community just, it has the potential to grow like exponentially, right? Yeah. So it's so much better to be on multi-platform sometimes than just being exclusive. And I know exclusive games are awesome as well, but it's just the opportunity to grow the community. You get more engagement, you get more people like if you're on YouTube or writing articles or doing tips or just making funny content or doing whatever, it's always better to have more people involved that will come and watch it than no one.
It's also going to be the first, I got to say this with Titanfall, so now I get to change it just a little bit. First multiplayer focused new IP to release on multiplat in a long ass time.
Yeah. True.
Because I'll just start Titanfall out in that case. See? Get that multiplat in there.
They're multi-plat, but I see where you're going with that.
Yeah. So it's gonna be huge. It's gonna be huge.
Let me see.
That's want to talk about
it on Destiny.
All right. You want to talk zombies?
Zombies. H1Z1 versus DayZ. That's how I'm working. So first off, you guys
I have all sorts of cool titles I could use for this if I had more characters.
Mr. Smedley.
I'll say the DayZ Killer? Question mark.
Mr. Smedley.
Alternatively, DayZ Rises would be another one.
Mr. Smedley posted this nice, very nice, pretty transparent, just kind of like an open dialogue about H1Z1 comparisons to DayZ and where they want to go with this game. Obviously, people kind of looked at the game itself on their live stream that they have, which was days ago, long ago, and they basically debuted the game. And this is the new way developers are kind of getting people engaged and excited about their games, is by showing you the game, right? And so immediately, right? It looks like DayZ. It does. It looks like DayZ.
Yeah.
Gameplay is obviously very similar. Post-apocalyptic world. You are a survivor in a zombie-filled, dangerous environment, and you have to scavenge for materials. But this one has, it seems like, more crafting involved, where you're actually building fortifications, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they actually showed the crafting system at the end of their last gameplay.
I didn't catch the very end. I got
they built a little wooden shack. It's similar to Rust.
Rust. Okay.
What I compare the building to.
Okay, so it was about 30 minutes in, or 35 minutes in is where I stopped. But
it's on that PlanetSide engine.
It is. So
you know it's going to be better than the Armo engine.
handling lots of players.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think people want large player counts in these types of games, and that engine can have hundreds, potentially thousands, in the same continent. You know,
right?
And I think it's like 500, 600 max in the same area, if I remember right from my PlanetSide.
Pretty substantial, right? I mean, the thing about it though is like
it's not even needed for that high of a count, really, for a zombie game.
The environment is very, very large. From what I could gather, like they had to drive from one location to the other, and you know, DayZ's map is pretty big, but it seems like this one might be bigger. It's hard to tell though.
It's definitely gonna be bigger.
You think it's definitely gonna be bigger?
Definitely.
Okay. So I mean, it was hard to tell from just that video of trying to discern how big the environment was, and I think they mentioned it, but I can't remember off the top of my head.
That said, it doesn't look anywhere near as beautiful as PlanetSide.
No.
Especially because, I mean, the environments aren't going to be nearly as varied either. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to be forest, suburbia the entire way.
Derp says, so it's War Z. You know, here's the thing. From the gameplay, it seemed like it's very polished for right now.
For where it's at.
For where it's at, yeah. That's what I mean. For right now.
Way pre-alpha game.
So it's hard for me to judge anything, especially in comparisons to War Z. I see you got the Kappa there, obviously, but it's very difficult for me to say that. I wasn't impressed by just how non-buggy it was. I mean, they had a couple of things that happened with their main server, and I know builds work, but I mean, they got up there, talked about the game, showed it off, did 50 minutes of streaming, people talking about the game. I think comparisons to DayZ, any way you cut it, is pretty damn impressive in my opinion. I mean, DayZ is basically came out of nowhere, super popular on Steam right now, always the top stream game. YouTube community is growing. Everything about the game is pointing in the right direction. So I think Sony's just trying to take a piece of that pie. You know, State of Decay did it, and they did a very nice job with their player experience. There's a couple other games. You say Rust is kind of doing the same thing. Like, this is what people kind of want to play right now, right? So why not have that on console?
Not only that, but they're doing a free-to-play model.
Yeah.
And they're doing it in a respectful way where they're not letting you do any... It's not going to be any pay-to-win stuff. I've got the game up now. So it's not going to be any pay-to-win. They're going to sell wearables, so any kind of clothes and that kind of stuff. You'll also be able to get the wearable stuff as drops, but it's going to have durability. So if you die like 2 or 3 times, then you'll lose it, is how they're going to handle it. Versus where if you pay for it, then it will be with you forever. And they aren't going to allow you to buy weapons, food, ammo, water, any of that stuff. You won't be able to purchase. You won't be able to even purchase boosts that help you get that stuff faster. They're doing straight just cosmetics is the approach. So I mean, it's the right way to do it.
Yeah, I mean, you can't complain about that. Like, one of the big major complaints, obviously, free to play is always, is it pay to win? Is it pay to win? Pay to win? And like, if you say cosmetics, any way you slice it, like, there's just, I pay to look good. I pay for swag. Like, you can't put up that argument, right? So that's obviously the approach that I always like seeing from developers. We've tried to very similarly do the same thing with Edge and at Edge with Loadout. So anytime I see that, it's like a big thumbs up. I'm like,
to me, it's the only, like, if you're releasing a PC game, it's the only model you can do reasonably. I mean, like, you might make some money other ways, but as far as like building a community and having a mega hit, like, that's really all you can do. Looks
So
good.
yeah, I mean, a couple of things that.
See if I can get some of the crafting stuff up for you guys.
See, why is there such around 15 years later when it showed the mechanics were simple as that? How different is it from DayZ? And this is something that Smedley commented on a lot. So I'm gonna just read it verbatim what he said. Not going to give some politically correct dog BS answer. It is a survival and a zombie apocalypse game. So is DayZ. They have made a brilliant game. First, I might add. They have a great vision for it and can count myself and most of the people on our team as fans and contributors. We're making the game we're making long term. We plan on making this about a persistent world with a big landscape and thousands of players. So I think that's one. When you pick up on that, obviously that's the planet size stuff we mentioned. That's a key difference, right? The way we would like to see this roll out is much more like players building small enclaves or pockets of territory and hold out against a legitimate zombie threat that's ever present, while others go at it taking their chances. At it alone, taking their chances. These player-built structures, forts, and towns are one of the ways the players try to carve out some small space in a dangerous world. And so, I'm watching Walking Dead on Netflix. I'm not watching it, but I'm on. See, I think they have season 3 up right now, and so I just finished season 3. I don't want to spoil it for anyone, but I will say this reminds me of season 3, and that like you have this one city. I will say this character's name, governor, like in control of this one city, and then the other main character is in like hold up in a fort, right? Or a prison. I'm sorry, a prison. And so they kind of have this clash, and I think it's interesting to kind of have that same type of dynamic. And you think about like the progression of like zombie horror as a movie like phenomenon, and always interested in games, Resident Evil stuff, and like this progression that we've got to like this post-apocalyptic zombie infested world is where we're at right now with TV, and that's where we're at with games. It's like almost 1-to-1, like the same time that they're releasing, right? Other than maybe like he mentioned 28 days later. That came out a little bit before, like that was like right around the time I think Left 4 Dead started coming out, right? So
yeah, about that time.
It's almost been like a 1-to-1 of when the games have come out, the movies alongside them have come out, and then the progression towards where we're at now. It's really interesting to kind of look at how game design for this specific genre has kind of come up.
Yeah, and it's gonna be curious to see where it goes. Obviously, Dying Light's another example of another take on it, but we'll see.
Speaking of Destiny, they just updated their site a few minutes ago with new.
Yeah, I just saw. It's pretty. I don't know if it's new info or not, but it's nice and shiny now, and probably pretty bandwidth intensive.
Oh,
It's got lots of animated video stuff.
Oh, yeah, they changed that around. Colin, I think it was us, dude. Every time.
Yeah.
Every time. You see, guys, you see what we're talking about? Every time we say something, what happens? Boom, just like that. We're like, Destiny updates. Boom, you guys got it.
So you know what? Half-Life 3. Probably coming sometime soon, maybe.
Colin, that analyst.
That's
Somebody
right.
pay this man.
Launched the site about a month before beta. What do you think?
What?
Launched the site a month before beta?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So end of May, we're gonna go ahead and guess. There's no way they wait till July for beta when they're shipping in September.
No way. I agree.
It could be June, I could see, but I don't see July.
Last thing with H1Z1, are you getting early access?
Speaking of H1Z1, they just updated their site a few minutes ago. You're joking, for sure. But I'll check, just in case. Oh. There's not new info.
It will be tomorrow. That's what happens, guys. That's what happens. You guys know. Our viewers know.
Their website literally just links to the Reddit.
Does it?
Yeah, like they have a splash background and then it links to the Reddit.
Um. So yeah, do you think this is something that you're gonna try out? Steam Early Access. So I've tried. Tried and played State of Decay. I played DayZ, and I am interested in H1Z1. I'm still not sure if I'm gonna get it, but it's certainly on my list to look at.
Oddly
Analyze.
enough, I was interested in any, I wasn't interested in any of the other ones, and this one has me interested
Really?
for the first time. Just because of the large players, I know the engine is proven.
That's
Like
true.
DayZ, I always feel like they were super hamstrung, and we're never gonna be able to make anything that was like anything beyond what they had initially.
Right.
Um, so I was never really that interested. Rust, just aesthetically, never really interested me. But this, I don't know. It's not like the aesthetics kind of suck currently, but I know what it's what it's capable of when it's done.
The and we played quite a bit of Planet Side 2 together.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, that
Like
was a
it's
fun
actually one
game.
of those games that I keep wanting to go back to in some capacity. But
Yeah.
then like it's always just like, because it didn't run great on my PC, so it's hard for me to be super pulled into it. Although I've heard they made performance improvements.
I got that 760, dude. I can run anything.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I enjoyed it, and the engine is ridiculous. Like the things they did, as far as the engineering goes on PlanetSide, are absolutely incredible. So I mean, you know that engine can haul ass.
Yep. So yeah, I guess that's a good point. Like that does have me interested. I kind of want to see how people end up building stuff, and then how zones end up. Like what is your territory? Like if you go in this area, the Frost Army is gonna whoop your ass, right? So that's DTS comes in there, they're gonna get slapped down, and H1Z1. That's just kind of how I'm picturing things happening. This is in RC Johnson's in. Um,
They should be able to do some area streaming type stuff,
yeah,
and maybe
and
eventually have all of America.
here's yeah, that's the other thing we're talking about, building out all of cities in the U.S. But
Yeah.
I want Colin on my building side because since he's Mr. Level Design now, so he's gonna have some nice structures and fortresses for us to hold up in.
You can't trust me on any game with like death penalties. There's just no way.
It's up to you.
You couldn't trust me.
Wait, if we said, Colin, we need you to build an impregnable fort.
Then we do it on Fortnite maybe,
Oh, that's true.
which has a more robust building system. So that's a possibility.
So yeah, that's it on that. And then Colin, I'm gonna let you handle this because I am going to keep my blood pressure down. I'm gonna let the chat just kind of go at it. I'll be manning the chat. I'm gonna get a drink of water, come back. I'm gonna just let you go on this because I don't even want to touch it and get too upset. Tournaments.
All right. So here's the thing. You guys have heard me rant quite a bit in the past about tournament settings for Titanfall and how we need to keep it as vanilla as possible until the game is tested. Hell, I made the same rant in Gears that people needed to try stuff on the kind of vanilla version of the game before banning shit for no fucking reason. So ESL, for those who don't know, is like the European League. I'd say you can pretty much say definitively it's the European League. They are called the Electronic Sports League. They've held tournaments for all sorts of games. They had a Titanfall Test Cup 1, which banned like some small stuff. It's like satchel charges and burn cards, I think were all. And then they released the rules for the second Test Cup, which was a result of player feedback from the first one, as well as like the admins apparently just thinking about what they should ban. So I'm gonna post the link to the Reddit thread. Did I already post it? Yeah, I did. So the Reddit thread was called "ESL are killing competitive Titanfall. Help stop them." It was posted by War Spirit, who is a competitive PC gamer. I've watched his stream and seen his posts a bunch. The crazy thing is that in the Titanfall Reddit, this got 445 comments. Nothing on that Reddit ever gets that many comments. Like,
Nothing.
just outright. Nothing's even come close. I didn't see anything good like over 40 or 50. since like big news announcements might get that many. This is the first post I've seen which has gotten that many comments because everyone had something to say, either about competitive Titanfall or about how fucking retarded these rules were. And I don't mean to say that lightly. So what they did was they've deleted the page for the previous rules because they revised it after 24 hours of everyone raging at them. But they banned. I'll start with the more reasonable ones that some people will agree on. So some people say satchels are overpowered and should be banned, so they banned that. People push towards banning Smart Pistol because it's like a noob-friendly weapon. So those were two they banned. Everyone's like, okay, whatever. I kind of roll my eyes at it. I don't think it's necessary because Smart Pistol isn't used by anyone. Like, it sucks. So anyways, they banned that. They restricted the amount of shotguns. You can only have one shotgun on your team. You cannot pick up anyone's shotgun, so you're stuck with just one player on shotgun. They banned Stim and CTF, as well as Active Radar Pulse. So in CTF, all you could use was Cloak. Active Radar Pulse is banned in all modes. Again, like, I've barely seen anyone using it. Besides the people on our team, we have a couple guys, Kale and Orange, both use it. They banned Match Trigger on the G2A4, which was kind of acceptable because you can macro it on PC, so it fires all the rounds pretty much immediately. But you still have to aim the rounds and adjust for the crazy-ass recoil that it has when you do it. They banned Deadman's Trigger, which kind of makes sense if you're in banned satchels anyways. They banned Minefield on the triple threat on the Titans, which, if they had tried it, they would have found that it's pretty fucking useless. You can only have 9 mines out. They don't really help against players that much. On a few maps, they might be good, but it's pretty shitty, and you can't do anything at all against Titans. Like, you just get fucking stomped against Titans. They banned Stealth Kit.
Stealth Kit!
Fucking, hey, you said you wouldn't. Stop. So they banned Stealth Kit, which no one uses. It's worthless. It's probably the worst passive, I would say, in that entire slot. I've run it a little bit for flag running and stuff, but it's pretty shit. It's pretty shit. And there's no reason at all to ban it, considering that it's the one thing that can help you sneak up on people or anything like that. And lastly, they limited the amount of Titans in Capture the Flag, so you can only have 3 Titans active at a time. So if you're sitting and you're the 4th guy, you just have to hold on to your Titan so one of your teams dies, and then you can drop in another one. And that's it. I think that's all of it. I believe, maybe. So they banned all this shit in their second test cup. Second. Under the guise of, it's just a test cup, we can do whatever we want after this, blah, 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 blah. Not recognizing the fact that this is a community that's barely alive to begin with. Like, there's currently like maybe 20, 30 teams. Like, it needs to get rolling first before it can start to pick up teams. And these things just completely shit all over everything. So, of course, everyone in the comments, like, the community doesn't want to see the game torn apart immediately. You know, like, if you enjoy the game, you probably don't want every single thing banned. Like, it doesn't make sense, you know? So they made all that shit. 400 comments inside this Reddit thread. I'd say about 99% of them are calling them idiots. Probably 5% of those are saying that competitive Titanfall is stupid because the game wasn't made for it. But the vast majority of it are saying competitive Titanfall needs to be vanilla. Like, it needs to not have all this crazy ass bans. It took them about 24 hours. They revised it. Their second test cup now has just some stuff banned. Like, they took out the stim ban. They still have the Titan limit. Still have the shotgun limit. Still have Active Radar Pulse banned. Still have Minefield banned. Like, they just got rid of the ones which are the craziest. And they also added a rule: if CTF ends in a draw, they'll play 1 round of Capture the Flag on Training Ground, with first cap wins as the winner. Because the other maps are unbalanced, and Training Ground is perfectly symmetrical, so it makes sense for a Capture the Flag sudden death for a different matches tie. So that's all of it. Again, like, it makes no sense. This is the important thing to note here is that this is the only PC league for Titanfall. Only one. There might be some small stuff here and there, but this is like the hope for PC Titanfall. It's also the hope for European Titanfall because Game Battles doesn't really cater that well to Europeans when there's not a lot of players currently. So it's pretty much like this is the EU and PC scene, and the league just chat all over their league, or all over the settings. And they've been pretty fucking resistant in the comments as far as how awful their rules were and how uncalled for and how no one really asked for it. So just wanted to go on the rant. ESL, it really, really disappointed me with these rules. And I feel bad for all the PC and European guys because they clearly don't get what the fuck they're doing. That's all I
I'm
got.
I'm just upset at why the competitive community can't just, if you are the best at a game, show me that you are the best. Period. End of discussion.
That's the thing. So the reason Stim got banned, this is a quote right from the ESL person. One team lost during their Test Cup 1, and they said that it was because the other team was using Stim and that they couldn't stop them with the other team running Stim and they weren't running Stim. So their test was to run the same teams or whatever the next week with Stim banned. Because this team lost and were sour and butthurt, and they thought that it was because of Stim, which they could have been using. That's just so incredibly out of touch with how competitive play works that it's mind-blowing to me. And this is the lady who's Amy, who is apparently in charge of making settings for the game.
Listen, guys, and I've said this before. Listen, if you come to me and say, listen, I want to race you right now. I want to race you in a race. We can't run on this dirt road. No. We got to run in the water. No. I'm sorry. We can't run in the water. You got to have, you specifically, you got to have ankle weights on, because for me, I can't do that. That's basically exactly what they're doing with the telling them that they need to ban STEM because we didn't use it, right? Like, you can't have on track shoes. You got to be barefoot, and you got to have all these weights on you. Then we can race. It's like, what? I thought you just wanted to race. What are all these rules that you put in play? I thought you just wanted to race. Like, let's just me and you run to that right there, that tree right there, and we'll see who beats who.
And then I lose, and it's like, oh man, you were wearing shoes, and I wasn't.
You were wearing shoes. Oh man, I didn't have any.
You run it back without shoes. Shoes gave you an advantage there. I could have worn shoes.
Oh man, I just don't for the life of me get it. I've been a very, very strong vocal advocate for testing these settings adamantly. There is nothing pressing right now for Titanfall. There is no reason, absolutely no reason that we should be talking about let's ban stuff because you go 40-0 running Cloak in a pub match. Like, what? Come on. Yeah. So? Because you go 40-0 with Smart Pistol against people that can't play. Okay, so? Come on.
Over on Game Battles this weekend, they had the 4v4 Last Titan Standing tournament. And afterwards, I saw 2 different threads calling for Arc Cannon bans.
Arc Cannon bans. Like, Arc Cannon is one of the most difficult weapons to use. It's difficult. You got to time your shot.
And it's by no means the best weapon. And 1 week ago, no one would have said it was the best.
Exactly. And I remember I said, and I think I talked about it on the show, or maybe on a video. I can't remember where we were talking about it. I was like, dude, Shockwave was using the arc cannon with the Strider. And I was like, he was just nasty. Like, he was ripping people apart. And this is like 2-3 weeks ago, right? Ran into Shockwave, pro Halo player, using the arc cannon with the Strider. And everybody else is using 40 mil because 40 mil was meta at the time, just destroying everything. And he came in like, we beat his team, but he went 18-4. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Couldn't kill him. Like, he was just doing circles around me with the arc cannon. Couldn't stop.
That's the thing. It took four weeks roughly of the game being out and like 3 weeks competitive play. Sorry, it was like 3 weeks competitive play before the arc cannon kind of revealed itself to be good. And yet people are so quick to ban things.
Right.
So quick. Yet things are still shifting and everything's changing over time, despite nothing else being banned. Like, nothing's been banned on GB yet, except for burn cards. And people are considering a satchel ban currently. Which satchels are a little strong, but I don't know if they need banned.
You know, I have faith that...
Really, it's just Respawn needs to pay attention to some of this stuff. But
yeah, I have faith that Respawn...
The community needs to give everything else some time.
But yeah, we need to be very, very slow with this. Very, very slow. Because, like, I mean, that ban list is so ridiculous. Like, you talking about a third of the game? Like, You're getting rid of a third of the
There's
game?
there's like 3 active abilities, and they banned 2 of them.
2 of them. You're getting rid of a third of the game, and you want people to tune into this? Like, this is the exact same discussion I had about Gears. Like, you want people to be invested in your stream in this competitive environment, but you get rid of everything that makes it interesting for that player. Like,
Yeah.
that's not how competitive works. Show me that you are the best player at this. No restrictions. Show me you're the best player.
Yep.
Show me why this is too strong. This is what you use every single time.
And then if we get to a point where everyone's using the same shit because it's the only thing you can use and there's no counters to it, then we'll talk about bans. Or hopefully Respawn pays attention. It's like, oh shit, something's broken, and they fix it. Like, there should be no reason to ban shit. There should be none unless everyone's using the same thing. If the game gets watered down to a point where you can't experience the game, or like Titans for some reason aren't useful, or pilots are completely not useful, then what's the point of banning shit unless you're at that point? Because something doesn't take skill? Because no one uses it? No one uses it is the worst idea I've ever heard for banning shit. Which is basically what the Smart Pistol ban was. Like, no one's using it, and they're banning it. Just because of, it promotes newbie gameplay, but it's the worst weapon. How does that make fucking sense? It's the worst weapon. It's the worst weapon. How are you going to say it's the worst weapon, and it's also the noob weapon? If someone's using it and they're stomping at you, they're probably the best player ever to play the game. They're using the worst weapon and they're killing you. Jesus. How are you going to make that fucking argument? I keep seeing that argument all over the place. Smart Pistol, man. It just aims for you. It should be banned. Okay, use it. Oh, you didn't get any kills? No, that's because it sucks. But it should be banned because people can get cheap kills. Like, what? You just sucked with it. You couldn't do shit. How are you going to do that? How are you going to do that?
Colin, I
haven't seen one person run Smart
I
Pistol.
haven't seen one. That's what I said.
I run it to counter satchels and arc mines because that's what it's in the game for, is to counter those things. So, like, I'll run it for that reason. But I'm not stomping on people. It's the worst weapon. Why would you ban it? And how? I'm using it to counter 2 things you want to ban. Why are you going to ban the thing that's the counter? Why are you going to do that?
I have played, I don't know how many matches now.
It's absolutely ridiculous.
I have been killed by this Smart Pistol maybe 5-6 times.
Yeah.
Total.
So thousands of deaths.
And I have not run into one single competitive player, except for Colin, who was using it in the same situation that he said, using the Smart Pistol in a match. Not a single one.
And that was before they nerfed it. They nerfed it once. Absolutely ridiculous.
So this is why the competitive community for me has always been so frustrating. Because of these types of situations. It's always so frustrating because of these types of situations.
Yeah.
And it's just something where I feel like there's always this sense of entitlement because this is the best way to play. Like, we always need to have all the hardest weapons because that's the way. I mean, if that were the case, everyone needs to be using like the Kraber and pistols, right? Like, that's the only way you can play Titanfall.
AOG Kraber and the semi-auto pistols
with the ogre and a railgun.
It's stem.
No stem. No abilities.
Sorry, no abilities. Yeah. And you have to use the vanilla Atlas.
Like, what type of game is that? And then you can't wall run. Why? Because it's too easy. Like, Rise is gone.
Yeah. It drives me insane. And what sucks is it's not just like us that's frustrated with this. Go into that thread, scroll through the 400 some comments, and look at all the people that are saying, like, hey, this is why I hate competitive gaming, is people immediately get into a game and they try and start banning shit. Like, or they say stuff's cheap, or they try to water the game down, you know? Like, that's what competitive players have done for ages. Like, it's fucking annoying. And I don't like competitive gaming because of that. And you go to the Halo forums, that's all that was for years.
Years and years.
To date, there's still Halo players. They're like, MLG sucks because they ban all this shit. It's a different game.
Listen, we need to start a hashtag or something, like end the cycle. I don't know what we need to. We need to end this. Like, it needs to stop. It just needs to fucking stop. It really does. It needs to stop. I'm saying this as someone that is heavily involved in the competitive community, heavily involved with seeing everything grow for the competitive community. This shit right here that we do every single game that comes out needs to fucking stop. It needs to stop right now. It just needs to stop. Really, it seriously does. Like, it really needs to stop.
Especially this day and age when developers can release patches like that. If something was genuinely, truly breaking the game, it could be patched in a week.
Whatever game that you're trying to play with all these bans, it's not Titanfall. It's not Team Fortress. It's not Call of Duty. It's not Halo. It's not whatever else. It's not the game that you are trying to play competitively. It's something else. It's something else that you've created in your mind that is another game that is not this game that you're playing right now. It's like when people try to recreate Quake out of Shootmania. Like, that's not Quake. Like, it's not.
To be fair, the developers tried to recreate Quake.
Oh, that's fine. But it's the same thing. Like, the players want Quake. They expect Quake. It's not Quake. It's Shootmania.
So they try and slowly change it. Yeah.
It's frustrating. Frustrating. So we need to seriously, if you're in a game and you're playing that game competitively, everyone out there, if you're on YouTube, if you're playing a fighting game, whatever, you play that game, you play with the cheapest character that always wins, whatever, and that becomes the meta. And then you say, hey, developers, look at this tournament, or hey, this is how this is played. And then you encourage them, you show them why this needs to be balanced. But don't just artificially ban stuff.
Yeah, and if you have a case where a developer isn't listening, then by all means, like, do what you need to do. Like, Smash is a good example. Brawl.
Smash is a good example, right? Yeah.
Meta Knight was a problem. Eventually, like, they, after years of competition, they're like, okay, we need to address this, and they banned them. Problem solved.
But look how long it took for them to get to that point.
Yeah, they gave it time.
So
there's nothing in Titanfall that's clearly broken currently, except for burn cards.
Which so, I would agree with.
Burn cards are inherently broken because of how they're implemented. Just saying.
That is my message for tonight. We got to end this.
Yeah.
We have to end this as a competitive community. We have got to stop coming into a game, a community's game, being the very, 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 very small minority and saying, you need to change how you're playing your game. This is not the game that you should be playing. You should be playing it this way. No. You play the game like it's being played and show whoever else that you were the best at that game. Don't change the game.
Yeah. You don't make a new game.
So please, take heed for this episode. I want to end on this note in terms of what we got for today. Play the game how it's supposed to be played. End this cycle of banning everything. Give it time. Give it time. Please. Okay, questions.
I think that's all we got. Yeah, let's go to general questions.
Is that your questions sound bite?
We need some kind of a stinger. I'm just
Is that what you did?
No. We're just really close to the horns. Q&A, gentlemen and ladies. If you have anything you want to talk about, type it in the chat. That 30-second delay.
Hello, Bankins. You guys play Hearthstone?
I played for probably about a month or so.
And am I a bitch for back?
No, like as soon as you've lost the game, you should surrender. Like that's the good mannered thing to do. It's like the equivalent of like StarCraft, right? If I lose the big battle and I have no chance of winning the game unless the other person is
Don't drag it out.
atrocious, you are a dick if you float your base off into the corner and make it last an extra 15 minutes. Like that's the dick thing to do. If you're in Hearthstone and you know your deck and you know you have no chance of winning, I think that leaving is good etiquette so that we can get on to the next game. That's my personal thing.
Not even, did you see the XMLG guys now for 3? Which one? They have a lot. Most recent I saw was Ghost.
Lennox is over there now.
Lennox is up from MLG?
Yeah. I assume doing video production stuff because that's what he was always, he was their technical director.
Dude, I love Lennox.
Lennox is shit.
Leland used to always talk to us every event that we went to.
Yeah,
Up
he
to
was
Linux.
he was the Gears stream producer.
Yeah.
For like 2 years. Also, he was the guy that I went to when I wanted to pull up some Gears footage for a video or something.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, I hit him up on AIM, and he actually went out of his way to give me FTP access to like a small folder on MLG's drive so I could grab some VODs.
Yeah.
MLG has those things, by the way. If you guys are Gears fans, you should harass MLG Sundance to release those to the public. I'm officially saying that.
Oh, God.
Bring us
I don't know
any-
how many viewers we have on today's show, but that can get dangerous when you do that on a specific day.
They have all that footage. All that
Oh,
footage
and
is
this is gonna
saved
go
on a
on
drive.
YouTube.
All that footage is saved on a
Thank
drive.
you, Colin.
MLG has
Thank
it.
you.
Lennox was the key holder, and he's gone now. Need to get it before it disappears. Lennox was the keeper, and now there's no guardian to the trove. It's like a Fifth Element. The elements are exposed.
So yes, if you're a Gears fan on YouTube and you've made it to this far in the video, Colin just told you to bug MLG Sundance for old Gears footage. Thank you, Colin.
Serious? Just ask for them to drop it in the Dropbox or something.
And
Or
people,
not-
I have not played Hearthstone yet. There's something about card games where I inherently look at it and I'm like, I can't play that.
You have an iPad, right?
I do.
It's out on iPad now.
Is it?
Yep.
I've
I'm
heard
waiting
that,
for it
might
to,
be the
like, once
ideal
it's-
experience.
Once it's on phone, I'm probably gonna play it a ton.
Okay, if it comes to phone, I think I'll play it.
Because I mean, like the barrier of entry of booting up the client and logging into BattleNet on PC is like way too much for a card game for me. But if it's on my phone, I can like be on the toilet and play a game or two, or lay in the bed trying to get to sleep, play a game or two, or 5 or 10. It's all good. Commander, there's no date for the Destiny beta. They said summer. I'm guessing next month or June.
Are you guys playing Space Engineer? I have played it on and off. I've not played it recently because I've been playing Nosgoth, but I know they added multiplayer, and it seems like all of their updates are actually getting people excited about the game. Each time I check it, like there's more and more people playing the game, which is awesome.
Halo 2 matchmaking in Titanfall would have been pretty cool. Any kind of matchmaking in Titanfall would have been pretty cool. You know it's true. You know it's true.
Also, PS4 will get a week early if you're really... Are you looking into Ultra Street Fighter? Yes, I am. Eyeballing it. I said that. I think I said it earlier in the show. That is my game I'll be playing a little bit on and off in between Titanfall stuff. Because I have my Xbox right here. Actually, we're actually moving out of this place. Where my Xbox is going. But anyway, I keep my Xbox 360 right next to me. So Titanfall downtime, I'm be like, Street Fighter match, come back. Titanfall, Street
You could get
Fighter
a whole
match.
you get a whole match in during the 90-second countdowns.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Have you
people.
guys
I'd
found-
say Hearthstone's a really good introductory card game. Like it's a pretty basic, and like if you get in now, then the card pool is still really small, so you kind of have less to focus on. I
Have
think
you
it's a really good first card game.
So Chappie, yeah, so there's a couple things that I've noticed with imbalance on any of the maps, really. If you spawn on a specific side, like some sides are faster based on the routes that you can go to a specific location. So for example, the one I always think of is Nexus, because of that zip line. So if you zip line, hop off of that tower, blue tower, you hop down in the middle, you get to that general area before the other team can get up to B. It's like, okay.
But it switches sides. I mean, the only issue as far as imbalance goes is that you can cap more than 3 times in the second round, right?
Yeah, that's is that really an imbalance thing?
Yeah, because for example, if you have a good side and a bad side on a map,
You hold out
If
bad
you have
side,
good
wait for
side-
good side.
if you have good side first, then you can only cap 3 times. If you have good side second, you can cap 6
4
times.
Yeah. That's interesting.
Like that's the imbalance. I mean, besides that, it's kind of the issue I have with flag maps in Titanfall currently is that some maps like you can just hop out of a Titan and grab it immediately, like you're right next to the flag. So you just like pop stem, hit it, and mash X, and you're only on screen for like a half a second on some maps.
So yeah, I mean
It's small stuff though.
That's definitely an issue. The only one that I'm not a fan of right now in terms of maps, in terms of balance, is Training Ground CTF, because you literally can run your Titan over the flag and then run back out.
That's the tiebreak though.
The only one that I dislike.
If it goes tie, we're going Training Ground. First cap wins.
What happened to be a 4 gameplay on your channel? Naval Strike came out a few weeks ago. Dumbfounded. You didn't hear? I've been talking about it for a while. I've been very upset with Battlefield in general.
That netcode is what's pissing me off. I keep seeing more and more videos exposing how bad the netcode is. Unplug the Xbox One Ethernet back into 360. That's fair. I'd say if I wasn't playing Titanfall, that'd be a pretty reasonable thing to do. Switch back to 360 for a while. Till Destiny. Beta.
Yeah. I mean, there's a couple games that you just, like, pretty soon, like, it will be pointless to play a 360.
Yeah. Probably within definitely within the next 6 months.
In the next 6 months, I mean, I can tell you right now, like, if I weren't playing Titanfall and Destiny weren't out, in my next game, like I said, there's so many games. Evolved is gonna come. I want to play that so bad, like, so good. But I still play Killer Instinct.
Keep adding the D. You keep adding the D.
Evolve.
Right.
Netcode doesn't bother me. The word netcode bothers me. To know what it means.
I mean, it's network programming. I think everyone knows what they're talking about when they say it.
I don't play too much.
Engineers and programmers at our studio use the word netcode too. It's just becoming normal.
Is that it? No.
Okay.
I played a little bit. I haven't played a lot lately. Like, I played like 1 or 2 matches recently. But to be honest, like, whenever my team gets involved with the game and they want everybody to play, like, that's all I play.
That's gonna be the focus, yeah.
That's all I play. So right now, Titanfall. In all my spare time, I'm playing Titanfall. I get home, Titanfall. I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning before I go to work, Titanfall. Then I do a video, then it's back to Titanfall.
A Titanfall video.
Although I'm mixing in Nosgoth. So here's an example of what happened. Servers went down for whatever reason, like last night or night before. And I think I tweeted out, I was like, "But does Titanfall servers go down?" It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, I could go to sleep. And I was like, no, I'm gonna play some Nosgoth. So I hopped on Nosgoth. I played that for like 2 more hours, so.
I gotta start mixing some Dota in my repertoire.
Yeah, I played who they had first? Fulgor? That's who I played. I played
Fulgor. Played Spinal yet, right?
No. I haven't played Spinal, I played Fulgor.
All right, let's go ahead and wrap it up. I think we're good.
All right.
So I'll go ahead and close it. So thanks for watching. This was episode number 64. We'll be back next week talking about who knows what.
Probably all the things that we called.
Yeah, so like we'll be talking about Half-Life 3. We'll talk about H1Z1 additional information. Destiny probably will have announced a beta date. MLG Anaheim will have added some exhibition titles like shooters. Probably Shadowrun might come back next week. The Gears VOD storage would be fully out for everyone to view. We can talk about some of our favorite Gears moments from the MLG VODs. So all that stuff next week on episode number 65 of Frag Logic. Thanks for watching. This was Skyllus here with good friend Arctic. And thanks for watching. Have a good night, guys.